If you go to the Kickstarter site and search for SUPERSCREEN, you'll find a campaign that died in 2018, with an explanation from the founder and no further updates since then. Still, it gets constant community comments multiple times a day asking for a refund that they will never ever get, no matter how many times they ask, because the owner is gone.
Wanna take you for a ride.
Welcome to Kickscammers, the show where I, DJ Slope, look into the worst Kickstarters, the most disgusting Indiegogos, and the most evil GoFundMes to ever exist. And today we are taking a look at the SUPERSCREEN, an obviously fake device that gained a stupid amount of money, shipped nothing, and completely got away with it because the owner is gone. This is the story of the Kickstarter that killed. Welcome to Slope's Game Room. So let's start off by checking out the product. A tablet-shaped screen as opposed to a tablet-shaped tablet. This screen, that again isn't a tablet, it's just a screen, replicates what your phone can do instantly so you can enjoy all of the functionality of a phone on a tablet-shaped screen, which again is not a tablet, it's just a screen. Sorry, what? Okay, yes, this is far from a new campaign. It launched in March of 2017. However, mirroring your phone screen, whether that be an iPhone or an Android device, has been around well before then. In fact, according to my research, it started becoming a common thing back in 2012 on most up-to-date phones, meaning that by 2017 it was almost guaranteed that you would have this functionality shoehorned into, well, practically all of your phones. Oh yeah, and one more thing. Tablets already exist.
Netbooks aren't better at anything. They're slow, they have low quality displays, and they run clunky old PC software. So they're not better than a laptop at anything, they're just cheaper. They're just cheap laptops. And we don't think that they're a third category device. But we think we've got something that is. And we'd like to show it to you today for the first time. And we call it the iPad.
Why would anybody spend over $300 with shipping to get a screen, not a tablet, that is essentially powered by your phone when you could just go and get a tablet, not a screen, from this era much, much cheaper? Who the hell knows? Regardless, some people did, as this thing actually got funded to the tune of $2,524,042 by 18,184 backers. And even then, people had their doubts. Obviously. Like, if this is just a screen that replicates your phone and nothing more, what's with the camera? Surely you wouldn't need to use that, right? If this is a brand new screen-based system that replicates your phone, why use an aspect ratio similar to a tablet that's going to be giving you constant black bars above and below or side by side on the device? Wouldn't you make it the right size from the get-go? Well, of course you would. The reason why all of this plus many other features simply just do not make sense is because, in my opinion, this isn't real. I mean, technically it is real, they are holding it after all, but it's not a new product, it's a Samsung Galaxy tablet, as seen by the placement of the shape of the buttons as well as that camera on the back. Investigators worked out that this was indeed a Galaxy tablet running some kind of mirror mode option fairly early on, and sadly when looking at his own YouTube channel, this device is so incredibly laggy and glitchy at times, it simply would be a way too painful device to ever use. Also, whilst looking at these videos, it's so obvious that this dude, with respect, has no idea what he's talking about. Like how he's showing the orientation of the screen on the phone, yet not affecting the tablet. Hang on, mate, isn't this what we're paying for? Again, the lag is simply unbearable. How could you possibly think that this was a good idea to show off? I mean, maybe I'm the fool. He did get 2.5 million after all. Regardless, possibly best of all is his demonstration of haptic feedback.
I want to demonstrate all the haptic functionalities of SUPERSCREEN to our backers. It has all the typical haptic functionalities of a smartphone device. To do this, I can go into something like Google Earth, and I can swipe, I can pinch to expand the view of the Earth. I can expand to really zoom in tight on something, which is great on SUPERSCREEN because the larger screen and extreme high resolution allows me to see really great detail on something like Earth. I can rotate and pan the view back and forth, and those are the basic haptic functionalities. Google Earth is an outstanding application for SUPERSCREEN.
That's not haptic feedback, mate. It's simply touchscreen controls. What are you even talking about? This is haptic feedback. Seriously, the more you watch of these videos, the funnier they get. Like, this.
So I can go into YouTube and pull up my favorite videos, music videos.
Ah, nice. Some Selena Gomez. Dude, we're still here. Seriously, people, I am not editing this in any way, besides removing the Selena Gomez music, which actually gave him a copyright strike. Yeah, I'm not editing this in any way. He's just literally sitting there watching this. Hello? Hello?
So as you can see, SUPERSCREEN is perfect for watching videos.
No, it's not. Here's another little issue that one of my supporters on Discord spotted. Notice how he is using an iPhone here to show off the functionality of the application, and also notice how he has the SUPERSCREEN icon attached to the bottom of the screen for non-Apple users. These are customizable icons and normally reserved for your most used applications like WhatsApp, email or a browser, and they will always stay on any home screen as you swipe for easy access. Well, after he opens up the YouTube app, he then goes back again to the home screen, which now has a different set of icons. What's going on here? Also, why is the YouTube app still asking to play the video whilst it's actually playing on the SUPERSCREEN? This is in no way mirroring what your screen does. Why does the Apple device show Android icons when on the SUPERSCREEN? Even the campaign video itself shows the bog standard screen mirroring icon in the top left of the notification bar, proving that he is indeed using the mirroring options and not some funky SUPERSCREEN application or device that he himself has made. Honestly, I suggest you guys go and check out these videos yourself, because every single one is laughable and confusing. They are full of so many little errors. Why would anyone in their right mind show these videos in this state when it's definitely not lag-free? Anyway, I think I talked enough about the product itself. I know it's rubbish, you know it's rubbish, so let's just look at the Kickstarter itself. Within only 4 days, the campaign became one of the top 100 most funded projects ever on the site, and 7 days later, it reached $1 million. 2 days after that, it reached $1.5 million, and as stated, by the time the campaign ended, it had reached over $2.5 million. Several updates came in showing software progression for this mess of an application, but sadly, the more he showed off, the more people speculated, especially when he claimed that he put together this entire tablet screen thing with his own 2 well-manicured hands, with 717 off-the-shelf products. No, you didn't! Anyway, as you may expect, it didn't take long before delays started popping up, pushing this thing back an entire year, meaning that when it would eventually get released, it would already be outdated. Still, that didn't really matter anyway, because then shortly after that, obviously, it was cancelled. Yep, just under 1 year and 6 months later, the towel was thrown in, with honestly very little explanation given. He explains that he has devoted an incredible amount of time to this project and therefore away from his family, 16 out of the last 24 months abroad in fact. And as for the backers, its doors closed. he couldn't be more crystal clear about that. We have ceased these operations permanently, effective immediately. Unfortunately, the refunds required to complete the development and production of SUPERSCREEN simply are not available. For the same reason, refunds of your campaign donations are not available as well. And all employees are terminated, responses to your inquiries will be delayed, and I may not be able to respond to every message. TLDR, the money's gone, and there's absolutely no way you're getting it back. So what happened? Honestly, not a whole lot. I would love to give you guys a rundown of money spent here, but unfortunately no concrete information is available. All we do have is a couple of beta testers that actually did get the device. Yes, I was wrong. It did in fact exist, although it is apparent by the pictures shown that this is indeed something completely different than what was shown before. A Galaxy tablet. And the reviews, as you would expect, are terrible. Not only does it not connect almost all of the time, when you do connect it, it's overly laggy and unusable. In fact, this beta tester that spent $199 for the privilege wanted the device so he or she could read books from their phone, and even that simple function couldn't be completed. The home button wiggled about, the volume button only went up and not down on this particular device, and the end result was a small group of people trying to turn it back into just a simple normal tablet. And finally, the only other real insight we have is from user Jake Hamby, who worked on the project for a total of 6 weeks before he and Brent had a falling out and Jake quickly left the doomed company. In his long Twitter explanation, he would go on to explain that Brent was incredibly hard to work with. He would never explain even to his own colleagues who he was dealing with in China to make this. He didn't explain how they got a GMS Google license to do any of this in the first place. He wasn't surprised with how it turned out. The founder was clueless as to how to ship this product that he had promised. He stated that this wasn't a complete scam. It did exist, but it was never going to be something that anybody wanted. He also stated the following: "This is a failure that's going to follow Brent F. Morgan around. He has 18,000 angry backers wishing him harm for the rest of his days." And then he committed suicide. You see, when stuff like this, especially at this level, happens, Kickstarter does indeed, for the most part, get involved. Obviously, we have no real evidence of this as investigations go. They keep nice and quiet during this time. Heck, perhaps the police got involved too. It's very, very likely. But of course, we can only speculate at this point, because we, the backers, and the wider audience only got told once Kickstarter or the police make a formal statement. But this time, they didn't. And they are never going to, even if they themselves know exactly what happened to that $2.5 million. With the death of Brent, it's case closed. The owner of this campaign, the guy that sold a dream that he was never able to complete, someone who constantly made mistakes, and sadly someone who had tens of thousands of people constantly begging him all day every day for answers, found it all too much. And like I said, for whatever reason, less than a year after posting that final statement, he did commit suicide, leaving a constant flow of comments still to this day constantly asking for refunds or updates, which of course they are now never going to get. More often than not, these videos teach us as backers to make sure we do our homework before putting down serious money on these campaigns. Never has that been truer here. I mean, honestly, the red flags were more than apparent since the beginning with this one. But on the flip side, for this particular segment, I think it's worth campaign owners taking a step back too, to make sure that they can actually deliver, because let me tell you guys, having 18,000 backers breathing down your neck begging for answers isn't the nicest feeling in the world. Of course, we do not know why he did this tragic thing specifically, but considering this information came in, like I say, less than a year after his failed project, I think it's fair to assume that the two things are linked. Does this excuse the fact that this device or app was either a terrible idea or a non-existent idea from the get-go? Of course not. And unfortunately, we will never know what happened with this device due to this unfortunate ending to the campaign, which of course ended in the absolute worst way possible, leaving nothing but angry backers still to this day, every single day, asking for their refunds or updates, which obviously they are never ever going to get. Hey there guys, thanks for checking out the video. A bit more of a morbid one this week, but this is one that people have been asking me to make for quite some time. There was a lot of people affected by the SUPERSCREEN, and hey, there you go. That's the story of the SUPERSCREEN. Anyway, this is the part of the video where I'd like to give a massive shout out to all of my Patrons and YouTube members that allow me to make these videos every single week, with an extra big shout out going to Aaron Gorman, Agro Crag, Akatimo84, Andrew Dalton, Arista, Ashley Philpott, Benjamin Guy, Big Rico, Boots Pup, Bram Perez, Chevmatic, Christopher Devero, Clan Bob, Conrad Constantine, De Action Saxon, Dina81, Game Apologist, Gary Pinkett, Ian Quall, Intrigued Gaming, Ataki Teacher, The Ashen Knight, Jay is Man Child, Jabba Al Aiden, James, Jeff Mianowski, Jeremy Bauer, Jeremy Rodriguez, Lucas Softail, Man Shovel, Matt Jackson, Michael Ridley Dash, Mike Fallon, Mind of the Unsane, Nicholas Burtner, Nick Pollard, Overjoel Zane, Rolf VB, Ray Blair, Retro to Next Gen aka Lou, Richard Alderjick, Rovan Army, Sir Nilsson, Shade Silent, Shadow Dragon, Shappy, Solix Captor, Taylor Rainwater, That Gamer, the Old Man Cometh, The Sneaky Ferret, Tim Lund, Toddpool Float G, Vitus Varnes, Vike Echoes, Wobbles and Bean, The Wonder Ducks, and Ye Old Hamburglar. Thank you all so much for your support. Like I say, as I always say every week, guys, if you want to see these videos before they come out, you want to see what I'm working on and all of that jazz, plus get access to the vault of Slopes Game Room stuff where you get to see all of the unedited stuff, making of stuff, all that sort of thing. There's links down below to become a Patreon or a YouTube member. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, but until next time, this is DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.